Okay, guys, welcome back to another vlog. It's Christy and Logan. Hi, Logie Bear. Although we've already done all our things, we're doing the intro after all the stuff, right? Are you hungry for your food? Yeah? Yeah, I know. He's like, we've done some of these already today. And that is because today was saddle fitter day. Yay! We haven't ridden in like 2 months because I just knew something was up with his saddle. It wasn't fitting right. His body has changed a lot since I've gotten him. His feet have gotten better. So it's kind of changed the way his back looks even from when I got him. So a lot of things have moved around and things, it just wasn't fitting right. And I think in not the last video, because that was on exercises, but the one before that where I was like, I did watch an informative video that was enough for me to know that I could look at certain points of the saddle and him and know that I needed to get an expert out to look. And so I called Patchwork Saddlery. They're out of around Rochester, New York, so they're not too far from us. And Heidi is she's one of those master saddlers who literally goes to England every year and gets lots of training and is extremely smart. And she has ridden all types, all kinds of disciplines, and even did at racetracks, caught horses, and she's ridden Western, and she's worked at Western barns, and she's a fox hunter and an eventer and done dressage and had all kinds of different types of horses, and she's been doing it her whole life. So she has thousands of hours and seen thousands of different horses and is very smart anatomy wise. So I'll be able to insert some clips of just kind of the background of her doing the measurements of the saddle. But she does a really in-depth look at your horse, how the horse moves, and then how you sit on the horse. And she looks at your saddle. She'll work with your saddle. She's not affiliated with any brand in particular. She is an independent saddle fitter. So she's not going to try to sell you a specific type. And she really took into account all the things that I needed because I technically don't own Logan. I lease him. So I didn't want a custom built saddle. Not that I could afford it anyway, let's be honest. But I wanted something that I could potentially, like if his owner Emily does want him back, then if I move on to another horse, I'm able to adjust it. Right? Oh, look at that face. He's been scratching his face. He and Scooby have been scratching their faces on something outside. I know. So he looks like he's gonna fight. Logan. Logan. Okay. Anyway, so that's what today was. Today was saddle day. And hint, I had to buy a new one. But I'm being open to miracles. I'm being open to miracles that I'm going to be able to pay for this no problem because I already put it on a credit card. That's what credit cards are for. But to be very honest, it was super duper reasonable. And I'm not just saying that in a relative thing because like equestrian relativity is crazy. They know how we think. And if they start to make something super expensive, like $6,000, $4,000 seems like a freaking bargain, right? And I'm not even talking about that because I'm talking about this is actually super duper reasonable. It's actually less than I paid for my Bua, and it's brand new. It's adjustable. You already ate that, buddy. That was your alfalfa. He already ate his alfalfa. Super adjustable as far as it's wool flocked, and it has tree points that are longer because Logan needs longer tree points than the Bua offers, which is the reason it didn't fit him well. It's a great saddle. It's wonderful. It works for many horses. It worked for me on many different horses, but it doesn't work for Logan because it makes it actually unstable for him. He needs more stability and a longer tree point based on his musculature. So, and other things, many other things. So don't take that out of context. That's just one of the things that I gleaned from patchwork saddleries work. And so without further ado, let's look at the new saddle, because let's face it, as horse people, we love getting new stuff. Oh my gosh. Here, my Lamia saddle pad is a brand new Kent and Masters GP saddle. And what I find really interesting is that if I were buying a saddle on my own, I wouldn't necessarily look at a GP saddle, because I do jumping. And, you know, I was always told that straight GP saddles wouldn't work because they're going to be too deep. You won't be able to get a good seat, but that's not true if they fit you correctly. So the key is saddle fitter. You need a saddle fitter, but look how pretty this saddle is. It's lovely. It's wonderful leather. It's wool flocked, and she flocked it here for me. It has movable knee blocks, and it has a lovely billet system that you can choose depending on what your horse needs. But this is the new saddle, and I'm super excited about it. Logan really liked it. Like, immediately putting it on and starting to ride in it, I didn't even feel like I was in a saddle, which rarely happens. Like, it just felt like part of him, and it was very comfortable. And he actually moved so much better. I can't even tell you, like, he actually bent to the left, and he was relaxed, and he moved forward. And he just felt really good in it, and it was really comfortable for me. The saddles I've ridden in have always been like schooling saddles, or they've never really been fit to me. So they've always kind of hurt, you know, didn't feel so great, but you just stick it out because what do you do? So according to Heidi, when they fit you properly, they're not going to hurt. So this one is now fit specifically to really help with Logan's asymmetry. Because, and I'll show you some of these clips, his shoulders are different. His right shoulder is much bigger, and that's due to the trauma that he had in the past with his old injuries in the left hind. He's got an old tear in his glutes, hamstrings area, which the vet has looked at, is never healed properly, as a giant ball of scar tissue. So he had to move differently, and he also bowed his left front tendon. This was all prior race training stuff. So his right shoulder, his right front, had to compensate for that, and so it became much larger. And so that causes him to have a huge difference in how his back looks, because one shoulder is bigger than the other. So it creates a difference in how the saddle should fit. So he really had to be fit very specifically. And I had to ride him both directions. We wanted to do a little bit more, but Logan spooked. And it was actually kind of funny, because it was like someone went by the one door at the end of the ring on the outside, and he saw it, and he was like, oh my God, I'm not going down there. So I asked Heidi to just go stand there. And so I walked him down there, and he literally just turned on his haunches and took off. And that saddle, I just stuck right in it. Like, I didn't feel like I moved. It was super comfortable. I felt like right deep in that seat. My reins were way too long, so it took me actually a good while to bring him back. But my bottom half didn't move, which was awesome. So that was another telling sign for me that this was a good saddle. And yeah, I'm rambling a lot because I'm excited.